All right, my students are getting ready to start a 1v1 tournament. They will be doing it in MWO starting today, and the finals will be taking place on Monday the 14th for their 10th anniversary tech club party. We've got the game loaded on 16 of the 20 some odd computers here at the school. A couple of these are doing it on the bare minimum specs. One is doing it, this one right here actually had some issues that we need to get fixed. One of them is doing it on specs that are actually slightly below the minimum. It's because of the GPU. We need GPUs here at this school pretty bad. Some of these PCs are fine, they'll play the game just fine. Mainly the ones at the center table that we're looking at right now. This, of course, right here is the latest build. i7 7700, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM. The i7 was donated, and the cooler that are on it were donated by JT of the 228 IBR. There's the Samsung SSD in there. That was also donated by JT. The RAM came from Father Bill. The students bought the motherboard and the case and the LED lighting. I donated the GTX 770 GPU that's in there and the power supply. 750 watt bronze from Thermaltake, but you can't really see it under that shroud. That's the best GPU. That's the best CPU or computer. This one right here is running an i5 6500, an RX 460 graphics card, M.2 270 gig SATA SSD. I think it's got a Corsair power supply in there, or maybe EVGA. But this PC will run the game just fine. This one's got an i3, 6th generation i3, RX 460, a SATA, standard SATA, 2.5-inch SATA SSD. It plays the game just fine too, honestly. This one over here this one's lucky if it gets 15 frames a second. Phenom 2 X4 with 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. Problem though is the GPU on this one. It's got a Radeon HD 5450. And we have other computers like these little black ones. They could play the game just fine if they had better GPUs. This one right here actually it's got a GT 730 in it. So it can still eke out 30 frames a second at low settings. So some of these PCs do just fine with it. Others are the ones that we need GPUs for. Most of these over here, most of these do just fine. It's these two on the end. These two right here, these two struggle with it. But this one's currently doing a bunch of fixes. This one's running an Athlon, AMD Athlon X4 with a GT 610 graphics card, I want to say. But, yeah, this one does a little better than that red one over there. Regardless, though, they're going to do this 1v1 tournament. This PC right here actually does pretty decently. Kids like that one a lot. Like I said, most of the ones in the center table are just fine. These three, starting with that cube there, the clear one here, and this tower over here, these are all AMD FX systems. They have various GPUs from 750 Ti's and such, but they all play the game at about 30 to 40 frames a second. So most of the PCs can handle the mins. Some of them can go more mid-range with the graphics. A couple of them can. But the kids are even happy. Most of these kids are even happy they have PCs they can play games on at all, because very few of them, if any of them, get to do it at home. So 1v1 tournament for these kids starting today, this afternoon, and we'll come to a heading ahead on the 14th. So I'll let you guys know how it goes.